All right, now I'm going to try exercise 2 from chapter 7H1. All right, again, the practice exercises here. Okay, so same scenario. I'm looking to prove that this argument is valid or invalid using indirect truth tables. So the first premise is P and Q, or rather, either P and Q or R. Second premise says Q. Third premise in this case says not P, and my conclusion is R. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create my truth table here. I'm going to have a P, I'm going to have a Q, I'm going to have an R. All right. I don't know how many. I'm only going to actually need to look at one row, so we'll see why. The first premise again is either P and Q or R. Okay. Second premise is Q. And third premise is not P. And my conclusion is R. Okay. Again, oops, you can't see everything there. There's the whole thing. Okay, so again, my conclusion here is R. I'm going to start my conclusion because that really dictates how. Usually, that's the place to start, almost always, because at least if it's a simple conclusion, that will really help you to start setting some truth values so you can see if this can come out valid or not. So R is going to have to be false, right? I need R to be false. That's the only way my conclusion can be false. So I'll go ahead and set all the R's to false. Okay. Now let's go to the premises. Okay, so Q has to be true, right? Because I need all my premises to be true, and one of my premises is just Q, so that has to be true, right? Now you can you can fill in this one or this one, doesn't matter. You'll get the same results. It's probably a little simpler to work with this. If P is going to be, if the premise here is not P, so the only way that comes out true is if P is false, right? So P has to be false for that premise to come out true. But then look what happens. If P is false and Q is true, then false, true. The conjunction comes out false, right? And then the main operator here has to come out false as well because the conjunction is false, right? R is false, the conjunction is false, so this junction is false. It's my main operator. Go ahead and circle that since it wants you to. The main operator here is that. This is the main operator there. And you have false conclusion, but you can't get all the premises to be true. And you have two of them true, but not the third one, right? You could have seen the same thing if you'd made this. If you wanted to make this premise come out true, you'd have had to set P to true so that you could have this conjunction true. But if you set P to true, then the negation over here is going to come out false. So either way you do it, whether you try to get this premise to be true or this premise to be true, you're going to see that you can't have all the premises be true and the conclusion false. So this has to be a valid argument again. Okay? And again, you're just sort of working it through, seeing is it possible to set these truth values over here in any way to get true premises and a false conclusion. And you have to just sort of work your way through it and see if there's any way to make that come out. And once you show that it can't happen, then you're done. Okay? Or also, if you show that it can happen, you're done. But in this case, it couldn't happen. So, okay.